The drought of 1881 had already wiped out half his herd when Elijah Harlan stumbled upon them, two Lakota women, collapsed in the parched grass near his failing well on the rugged plains of South Dakota. The shorter one was nearly 6 feet tall, her frame lean and powerful even in exhaustion. The taller one, heavens above, she towered at least 6'5", her buckskin tunic clinging to muscles honed by years of survival. These weren't delicate frontier wives. These were fighters, warriors from the wild edges of the Badlands. Elijah's prosthetic arm carved from oak after a Yankee cannonball tore through his shoulder at Anti-Tamcreate as he leaned on his rifle, every instinct from the Civil War screaming at him to back away. But when the taller woman's eyes cracked open, sharp as a hawk's and deep as midnight, something stirred in his gut, a flicker of humanity he'd thought long buried under layers of regret and isolation. Out here, 40 miles from Deadwood, silence was Elijah's only companion, broken only by the howl of coyotes and the ghosts of battles past. His hands still shook from those nightmares, the kind that left him gasping in the dead of night. Walk away. His mind urged Apache raids might be old news, but tensions with the Sioux ran hot, especially after Wounded Knee loomed on the horizon. Yet as the one-eyed woman stirred beside her sister, her scarred face twisting in defiance, Elijah couldn't turn his back. What kind of fool risks everything for strangers in a land that chews up mercy and spits out bones? Water, the scarred woman rasped in broken English, her single eye locking onto us like a predator sizing up prey. Elijah hesitated, his Colt heavy at his hip, but their desperation mirrored his own hollow, unrelenting. He fetched his last canteen, watching as the taller one steadied her sister, their bond evident in every careful movement. Her dress had ripped at the seam, revealing bronze skin taut over rippling strength, the kind you'd see on a cavalry scout, not a woman. "I'm Ayanna," she said, her voice steadying, laced with an accent that carried the wind of the plains. "This is my sister, Keona." Elijah nodded, gesturing to his weathered cabin. "Elijah Harlan. Call me Eli. You two look like you've been running from the devil himself." Ayanna's jaw clenched. "Pine Ridge," she spat, the name like venom. "Accused of murdering the agent's son." Eli's blood-chilled Pine Ridge Reservation was a powder keg, starved and oppressed by federal overseers who treated native folk like livestock. "If they'd killed an agent's boy, did you?" Keona's voice cut in, rough as gravel. "No, but I wish I had." The truth spilled out in hushed tones. Agent Hargrove's son, a brute with a badge's protection, had cornered Ayanna, demanding what wasn't his to take. When she fought back, he called her reservation property, threatening death for resistance. Keona had intervened, knife flashing in defense of her sister's honor. Eli's stomach twisted. He'd fought a war for so-called freedom, only to see the government herd these people into cages, forcing women into unspeakable bargains while children starved on rotten rations. Dust kicked up on the Horizon Riders, closing fast. Eli tallied his ammo. 10 rounds for the Winchester, 5 for the revolver. Supplies were thin. They wouldn't last days, let alone a siege. Logic demanded he send them packing, but watching Ayanna grip Keona's hand fierce, protective, tender-cracked his resolve. It echoed his lost letters from a brother killed at Gettysburg, bonds severed by senseless violence. "There's a storm cellar out back," he muttered. "Stone-lined, hidden door. Hargrove's men won't spot it easily." Ayanna's eyes searched his. "Why help us?" Eli met her gaze, seeing a reflection of his own weary soul. "Because ghosts get lonely, and maybe saving someone else saves a piece of you." The cellar was dank and tight, shadows swallowing them whole. Eli crouched with the sisters as boots thudded overhead, Hargrove's voice booming like thunder. "Harlan, you one-armed traitor, I know you're sheltering those killers." Through cracks in the stone, Eli watched 8 troopers fan out, rifles glinting. Hargrove, A hulking figure with a sadist grin paced the porch, his hands itching for vengeance. They slit my boy's throat like an animal. Harboring them makes you complicit. Ayanna tensed beside Eli, her warmth brushing aside in the confined space, sending an unwelcome spark through Hema hunger he'd buried with his war wounds. "Your son tried to force me," she whispered fiercely. "Called his friends when I refused. Kiona saved me." Kiona's scarred face stayed stoic, her hand on a hidden blade, ready to kill again for family. The search intensified. They'd find the cellar soon. Ayanna leaned close, her breath hot on Eli's ear. "Hargrove wants something more than us Deadcuster's lost cache, hidden in the Black Hills. 50 carbines, ammo for a full uprising." Eli's pulse raced. That intel could ignite the plains in blood. "You'd give it up?" Her eyes held storms. "To save my sister. To save a kind man." Her fingers laced with his, calloused yet soft, sealing a pact born of desperation. Overhead, Hargrove snarled, "Torch it. If Harlan's in there, he'll come out screaming." Kerosene stench seeped down. Time was up. Ayanna stood tall in the gloom, her form commanding like a prairie storm goddess, her torn dress accentuating curves of power and grace. "I'll trade the cash," she declared softly, "but only for safe passage to Canada for all three." Eli gripped her arm, feeling iron beneath silk. "He'll betray us." Kiona's grin flashed wicked. "Not if I put a bullet in him first." The standoff played out in Eli's barren yard under a merciless sun. Hargrove sat his mount like a king. His men in a deadly arc. Ayanna faced him unbowed, her height casting long shadows. 50 Spencer rifles, she stated flatly. 2,000 rounds, powder for months. Hargrove licked his lips greedily. "Where?" "Your word first, safe conduct north. No hunt, no warrants. You murder my son. Your son assaulted me before witnesses. Lakota code in your own army rules allow defense of honor." Tension crackled. Troopers fidgeted, whispers of the boy's cruelty circulating. Hargrove's face purpled, but greed won. "Fine. My oath as an officer." Box Canyon, 3 miles east of the Sacred Spring, Ayanna revealed. Hargrove spurred away, dust swallowing his posse. In the hush, Eli's hands trembled. "That cash means war dozens dead." Ayanna's gaze was steel. They were doomed anyway. Hargrove would starve them out. Now they fight on their terms. Brutal math, the kind Eli knew from battlefields where lives were traded for ground. Kiona broke the silence. "We leave now." Hargrove's word lasts till dusk. As they packed scant provisions, Ayanna drew near, her scent of wild sage stirring forbidden desires. Her touch lingered on his arm. "Come with us. Canada holds forgetfulness for haunted men." For a heartbeat, Eli envisioned it fleeing north with these fierce women, forging peace in untamed wilds. But his cabin, scarred by solitude, anchored him. "This is my fight, my ghosts." She nodded, understanding etched in her features, then brushed a kiss on his cheek, dusty, fleeting, laden with what-ifs. They vanished north, 2 titans striding toward hope or doom, leaving Eli with echoes of sage and silence. 3 years blurred by like relentless winds, eroding the land and Eli's spirit. He sold the ranch in 1884, after the last Sioux holdouts were crushed and the frontier was tamed into submission. Memories haunted every Sunset women marching north, choices that spared lives at terrible cost. In Deadwood's Golden Nugget Saloon, nursing bourbon that burned like remorse, Eli overheard bar talk. Geronimo's echoes fading, reservations swallowing the wild. A drunk muttered, "Pity those 2 tall Lakota sisters heard they perished in some Canadian pass, fighting Mounties." Eli's drink soured then she entered. Ayanna, aged by trials but regal in a simple calico dress, her stature turning heads. Her eyes found his through the haze, sparking recognition. She slid into his booth, presence filling the space. Kiona, gone. Typhoid, last spring. But free, in the hills she cherished. Silence wrapped them, saloon clamor fading. I work for the Bureau now, Iona said. Interpreter, helping the last band settle. Ironic, huh? Her laugh was edged. Hargrove's dead ambushed months after our deal. Likely by Sue, who found his cache empty. Eli chuckled darkly. You never told the truth. Moved it weeks prior. Saved our kin. In Deadwood's budding streets, telegraphs humming. Rails encroaching, they shared truths. Survival's toll, bonds unbroken. As she rose, Eli grasped her hand. Stay. We've ghosts, but maybe together. Her smile bloomed genuine. Yes, let's build something real. They stepped into the afternoon, hand in hand, toward a future reclaimed. Elijah and Iona, survivors forging peace from chaos, their love a defiant flame against history's shadows. What do you think about the tough choices Elijah and Iona faced? Share your opinions in the comments below. Do you side with their deception to survive, or does justice demand a different path? Let me know your stance.